All right, guys, back here on Southeastern 14 with Max Barr. Transfer season officially in full effect in
Oh
SEC
yeah.
basketball. I know we only have one team left to talk about in the Final Four, but we are already jumping into transfer season. As you know, if you watch this channel, we had transfers last year, all throughout the summer, all throughout the offseason. We're doing the same this year. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to start with Arkansas landing a big one. But before we get there, let's tell you about our friends at Bet Online. The tournament is here, and so they have all the odds, lines, and info you need for every game and every round right up until the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or mobile devices. And so be sure to head over to Bet Online today. Get in on all the action. Remember, use that promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. All right, Arkansas fans, we know a little bit of a detour on the must bust this season. But you remember back last offseason, we were having fun with these transfer videos because we know the transfers are always making their way to Fayetteville, as long as Eric Musselman is the head coach. And the Hogs have landed a very significant one, I think, here in Josh Cohen. And, of course, Joe Tipton put this out on Twitter a couple days ago. For Max and I, time always runs together. We don't know what day it is, but we know this happened. And so the UMass forward has made his commitment to Arkansas. 6'10 senior. He averaged 15.9 points, 6.8 rebounds per game this season. And Max, this is a guy obviously brings some size to the mix for the Hogs. And I think as we'll also look at, you have to put these transfers in the context of the who's coming back, all this other stuff. And of course, remember, we're doing this on the first day of April. There is still going to be so much roster movement that all we can really do is say, hey, here's who we think could be back for Arkansas, here who has eligibility left. But we know that Cohen's going to join the mix, an experienced player. If you just go beyond, I mean, he was great at UMass, but you look at like the numbers he put up last year at St. Francis. This dude has a lot of those things that I think that clearly Arkansas and Eric Musselman found very appealing. A guy who can kind of stuff the stat sheet in a lot of different ways, and that's what they're getting, I think, in Fayetteville.
Yeah. Cohen was a hot commodity this quick little portal season. He entered the portal on the 18th, committed on the 29th, so not even in the portal for 2 weeks. Was reached out to by Micah Shrewsbury at Notre Dame, Sean Miller at Xavier, Mike Rhodes at Penn State, and a lot of Power 5 teams that wanted this guy. He's going to be a graduate, so already played 4 years. This will be his 5th year. Veteran presence, 6'10", 220. Just going real quick into some numbers. How he scores, he's a back to the basket post up guy. Now we'll link a highlight video or two in the comment section below if you guys haven't seen him. Check him out. He's crafty, real crafty. Nice pump fake, nice footwork around the rim. He's an offensive big, and he's really good at drawing fouls. A really nice offensive big. 6.7 fouls drawn per 40 minutes this year, and it was even higher 2 years ago at St. Francis. 2 straight years where he's top 30 nationally in foul rate, fouls drawn rate. So the guy has a really good pump fake, knows how to draw contact and get to the free throw line. I'm a little bit worried, like with all mid-major bigs, is he going to be able to rebound? He played 6 top 100 teams last year, and in those games against top 100 opponents, offensive rebound rate was 9.7, which is quality. Defensive rebound rate was only like 14.8. So a little bit worried about the defensive boards, but you could pick apart anything. He's getting better at shooting. Blake was the first 3 years at St. Francis, he goes 0 of 2, like combined over the first 3 years. And then this past year, he was 11 of 32, 34% at UMass. So he's developing an outside shot. But the main piece here, Blake, that I think is the most important part about this get is the locker room culture. That's been a big piece for this Arkansas staff in the offseason this year. This whole offseason, it's locker room culture and building that back up, and I think they're off to a good start here.
Well, the problem, as we say with Arkansas, is, by the way, you tell Arkansas fans the shooting is going to be improved. they will take that. We tried to do it last year, and ultimately did not pan out very well. Even though it seemed like they brought in a lot of guys who were improving their shot, so you hope Cohen can add something to the mix there. But I think that's what's interesting is you look at like what Arkansas's projected roster is for next season as of right now. No clue. Like, I mean, I don't even think you really have much of an idea of what this roster is going to look like once it's assembled. But I think that's always the case. Like when you're talking about a must-coach team, is okay, you start to get those first couple guys in there. Now we're starting to see what exactly he's crafting here. Like, what are the things that he saw this season, which we all saw? We talked about it all year long. What are the things that they were missing? And you said maybe part of that's the locker room stuff. Maybe another part of that is, again, what just Cohen's overall skill set. We mentioned it. I mean, you're talking about a guy started in 2019. He was at St. Francis, and now, he's going to go into his sixth season in college. Didn't really play at all that first season there, but 12.9 points per game in 2022, 21.8 points per game in 2023, then transfers to UMass, averages basically 16 a game there. His rebounding numbers have been consistent the whole way, has averaged 7 or more rebounds for 3 straight seasons now, whether it's St. Francis or UMass. A guy who his assist numbers are pretty good. I mean, I think, a couple assists per game, maybe block a shot a game, something like that. So I think this is one, and you brought up the key point that I would make too. If you look at it in the SEC, it seems like the mid-major big men who transfer in, sometimes there is an adjustment. Like there is kind of that transition period, especially knowing the way that the game is played in the SEC. I mean, all year long we talk about the physicality, all those things. Remember, too, Texas and Oklahoma joining the mix. I think those are two teams that will add to that physicality that the league is, likes to play with. And so, so I think that is interesting because you think about some of kind of the homegrown big men in the SEC who have just been developed at certain places for multiple years and kind of what is, what they've been able to accomplish. And now you have a guy coming in who, if you, definitely want to be on the optimistic side, he's proven it everywhere he's been. I mean, 2 stops. This is, Arkansas is different than UMass or St. Francis, but this guy has been pretty rock solid and very consistent. And I think you think about it, right? Inconsistency was the name of the game for Arkansas this past year, not just, with the front court, but overall. And so I could definitely see Muss seeing this guy as someone who, is experienced, which we know they tried to build on last year. It didn't work out. We think that was the outlier versus the norm. The numbers say that with Muss, but this is still a guy I think that's going to add a lot of those intangibles that clearly they're looking for moving forward.
Yeah, and when you start to look at the kind of team build that's coming here into the offseason, you've got a lot of front court departures. Mekhi Mitchell. These are all not like transfers or anything. These are out of eligibility. Cannot play anymore. Mekhi Mitchell, Jalen Graham, Chandler Lawson. I know Davenport was a little bit more of a wing shooter, but still 6'6", and he's listed as a forward. You're losing 4 guys over 6'6" or taller. And so you just starter, support role, practice role. It doesn't matter. The team needs some height. And I feel like if you want to make a comparison to last year's team, Blake, maybe a little bit of a Jalen Graham role for Cohen, possibly. Maybe not dumping it down to him every single play, but comes off the bench, gives some quality minutes, draws a few fouls, adds in 6 to 10 points on any given night. That's valuable. That's valuable. And they didn't have that consistency this year, especially in the front court. I mean, you didn't know who was playing night to night. It could have been a guy could get 30 minutes one night and then he'd be a non-participant the next game. And I think getting a grad senior here, guy that's proven that everywhere, he was a NEC player of the year at St. Francis. For all A10 player, Frank Martin, big, so it's like, don't judge a book by its cover here, thinking he's just some mid-major, just fill-in. He's got some really good numbers, some good offensive rebounding numbers, a great foul rate. And when you watch his highlights, guys, you're going to see he's shifty down low. He doesn't move all that fast, and he doesn't have much explosiveness. He's got a nice little up and under, some nice pump fakes. He's crafty. I think he'll carve out a role here.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to make contributions on the offensive side. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of, like we said, what does the team look like around him?
Yep.
I don't think he's going to be the first option by any means, but yeah, he's definitely going to make, I think, be productive on offense. And I think that's where you do have a guy, like you said, if he is improving his shot, if he's able to, let's say he took 30 something threes last year, maybe he takes 60 this year. And
Yeah.
maybe that it forces the defense to be respected a little bit more. He knocks down 20, 25 of those, right? You'll take that. I mean, that's something where you're allowing someone to succeed, and you're also allowing others to succeed because he's going to force defenses to respect the fact that he can step out and hit jump shots. And so, yeah, I think, the defensive end, that's always the thing. Like we said, it's just adjusting to the physicality of the kind of guys you're going to go against in this league. And, how does that sort of project ahead when you're figuring out exactly, what is his specific, duty on this team? Like, where are the things that he's going to help them the most? And I think we've kind of outlined what that looks like. But as always, it's who knows, man, because we don't know what the roster is going to look like. And that's always the challenge is when you talk about these first couple of transfers to start with, it's always saying you can't just go all in and saying this guy's definitely going to play this role or that role, because with a team like Arkansas, I mean, we don't know who's going to be on the roster, period, next year. And that makes a little bit of a challenge. So
before we wrap up, I just want to emphasize a good way to gauge, is this? I love Tony Patel's. We bring him up almost every video now. I love how he always has his good gets. He loves the gets when it comes to portal season.
Everybody's a good
way
get.
What's up?
Everybody's a good get.
Everybody's a good get. Yep. A good way to gauge how good of a get it is to see, well, who else wanted my guy? Who else wanted him? Shrewsbury in the ACC, they wanted him. Sean Miller in the Big East, they wanted him. Mike Rhodes in the Big Ten, they wanted him. Every big conference besides the Pac-12 wanted this guy. Just that's how you can gauge how, the level of this guy.
So there you go, Josh Cohen, the newest member of the Arkansas Razorbacks on the revenge tour next season, for sure, for Muss and company. But as always, guys, we'll have you covered here at Southeastern 14. Hit that subscribe button. Arkansas fans, glad to have you back. If you're watching this video, we know we didn't get to talk to you a whole lot this season because of the way things went. But, yeah, off-season, transfer mode, here we go. And, of course, we'll be talking more football, baseball as well on the channel. So we appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll talk to you again here soon at Southeastern 14.